For those of you that don't know, I am a teacher. I've been a teacher for the past 12 years, so I love helping people learn. And in this video today, I am going to answer a question that many students don't ask enough. And it is, how do you take smart notes? How do you take notes that are effective, that I can use for my classes, that I can use to study, and that I can use to write my reports and pass my exams? I'm elaborating on the question there a little bit, but that's exactly what many students need an answer for. They need a solution and a strategy to help. So I'm going to give you that in this video today. So I hope you are ready to take some notes and you're ready to save this video. Hit the like button or save it to your watch list or something like that. That way you have ready access to it, and then you can apply these strategies. So first of all, before you get into any sort of note taking, you need to get in the right mindset. So if you're sitting there in the class, it's a lecture, or maybe you're having activities, you need to be motivated and you need to be curious. And I know that sometimes when you're going to school, whether it's high school or university, sometimes you're put into a class that you don't necessarily want to take, but you have to because it's required. And I know that that sucks, especially if it's a topic that you're just really not that interested in. I feel you there. I've been there many times before. And so this is a tricky thing, because if it's a topic that you're not really interested in, then how the heck do you get motivated or interested or curious? Well, even if you don't like the topic 100%, there still is a way to find at least one aspect of it that makes you curious, because curiosity really is the driver of learning. If you're not curious, you don't learn. If you are curious, it helps you to be motivated and it helps you to dig deeper into the topic. So that's the first thing that I want you to do whenever you're going to your lecture, you're getting ready, you put yourself in the mindset of curiosity, of motivation, and you're very attentive and you're there to learn and you're there to grow. First step right there. Okay, so now let's get into the nitty gritty. So you have your textbooks, you have your lectures, you have your classes. Now, I'm assuming that the textbooks belong to you. Now, if they do belong to you, then that's a fantastic thing, because that means you can mark that thing up as much as you possibly want to, right? Because it belongs to you. So don't feel afraid to mark it up. It's yours. Why not? Now, if the book doesn't belong to you, then you could use a notebook or something, right? I know that if you're in high school and a lot of the textbooks, they belong to the school, so you can't really mark it up, right? No problem. Use a notebook or something like that. So let's get into the even more finite details of this. Now, if it's a textbook, and you want to highlight the key points of information that you want to try and learn and remember and apply in your life or in your class, then you're going to want to highlight those things. And then you're going to want to translate those into your own words. This is worth repeating because it's very important. Translating key points of information into your own words helps you to memorize or to learn or to internalize the information that you're trying to learn. Why is that? Well, if you're just highlighting, it's not really going to do you any good unless you're like looking at the highlight over and over and over. But that's just called rote memorization, and maybe that's good for like taking exams, but it's not good for the long term. So writing in your own words helps you to internalize that message, and it also helps you to understand it a whole lot better. And the second step here is to write down your own thoughts, and opinions and questions about what is being covered in the textbook or the lecture. I didn't really talk about the lecture before. So, lecture, if you're listening to the teacher or you're doing some sort of activities, you still want to have your notes readily available. That way, you can write down key points of information and thoughts and opinions and questions in your own words as much as possible. Okay. So you're going to be writing this stuff down either in the margins or in a notebook. And that way, later, when you want to research the topic or study the topic in further depth, you can try to expand or answer the questions that you have written down, or look at the thoughts that you have written down and internalize those even more. That will help you to study for your exams. That will help you to write your research papers. It will help you a great deal if you have that readily available to access when you're researching or writing or getting ready for the exam. And lastly, here, for the thoughts and the opinions and the questions that you have written down at a later date, the next day or the next week or whenever you need to, you can research even further. You can research in depth about those thoughts and questions, and maybe some of the information in the textbooks that you need to dig deeper. Maybe you're confused about something. So dig deeper. Research online, research in journals, research in other books. Okay, so now that you've got all your notes written down in mostly your own words, you've got your highlights, you got them all maybe in your margins. The next step that you need to do, or that I recommend that you do, is to put all of these notes, create a document, a digital document. Put all these notes into that digital document. Now, I personally use RemNote for all of the things that I am studying. I absolutely love RemNote because it has a bi-directional linking feature. You can search for all the notes. You can categorize them. You can put your notes in folders. It's like an all-inclusive studying app. It's also got flashcards and all these great things. If you want to use some other note-taking app like Google Docs, no problem. It doesn't have as many features. That's the only problem. So use RemNotes or something like it to be able to transfer or create organized second brain where you can have and store all of the information that you have learned through the classes and the lectures and the textbooks. And the great thing about doing this is you have access to it anywhere, and it's directly available on your laptop or on your phone. That way, when you're writing papers and you've already got all the information transferred over to your laptop, you can just like copy paste, and it's in your own words, right? That's the key point here. It's in your own words. So when you're writing your papers, you can just copy some of the information that you've stored in your RemNote over to your Word document that you're typing up your research paper, and then organize it like that. So that is the great thing about this. I mean, it is extremely useful for students of all ages, whether that's high school or university, or doctorate, master's, doctorate, whatever it may be. Okay. It's useful for workers too. So if you're watching this video and you write emails often or whatever sort of information you want to store, it's very useful. So I highly recommend doing this. Another added benefit to transferring all of your notes over to a digital document is the fact that you can elaborate and expand on those notes at any time you want to. So, like a month later, if you're still taking the same class and you want to revisit the notes from earlier in the term, you can do that. And if there's more ideas or more research that you want to do, you can easily type it, easily add it. Unlike a physical notebook, you run out of space, right? On the digital platform, you don't run out of space. So you don't have to worry about running out of room. And also, you just build up like a plethora of information that you can just keep on expanding on and keep on revisiting to learn and internalize. And one last tip here for you, for everyone that's still watching here, is if you want it to stick in your brain, you have to make it as relevant as possible. And one of the ways to make it as relevant as possible is to try and apply it in your life. So, if it is at all possible, the information, if you're able to apply it in your life, like exercise, practice, experiment, something like that, it really depends on the topic, then this makes it a whole lot more applicable and memorable for you. Okay, so I really hope that this information has been extremely useful for you. If you have any questions about it, feel free and reach out. And I will make some more videos on this series on note taking on students who need help. And of course, continue to give great book recommendation and learning tips and everything like that. So make sure you're subscribed to the Bookmatic channel, and I will see you in the next video.